Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day, right there you took my breath away. A young and pretty, was it just?
What's up, Tim McSee? What's happening, brother? Jeremy Macbeth, what's going on, pal?
You told me I'm your little buttercup.
Patrick King, how are you, buddy?
Well,
Man, oh man, Scott Shope's here. Robert Murray, he stacks fishing. What's up? Oh. Tim H, how are you, buddy? Johnny Kopp, how are you, Johnny? Jim Saban, how are you, Jim? Conway. Joseph Cascarino, hey, Joe. Gio Miller, what's up, Gio? LP Bass, Alvin Valentine, Rander Miller. What's up, you guys? Ed Milnowski's here, Robert Mills, Yakin River Raft. Right on, brother. Alvin Valentine. Best part of my Thursday, too, hanging with you, pal. You better believe it. Ron's back bass and yo. Mike Hayers in the house. Lisa Lake Park. What's up, buddy? David Schottemeyer. Yeah, buddy. Good seeing you, pal. Man, oh, man, we got a great show for you tonight. Matthew's here. How are you, Matt? Life is good on the water. You better believe it, baby. Evening, fellas. What's up, Michael Bradley? Right on, man. Let's talk. That's right. Loving it. Red Dog, how are you? Well, good to see everybody, man. I'll tell you what, we have a great show for tonight. My name is Mike Acord. This is George Acord. We are Tackle Shop Live. Nick is out of commission today. He has to go to a meeting, can't get out of it, tried everything he could. I told him just to lie, but, you know, he's a good Christian boy, doesn't want to do that. So he has to go do his thing. No problem, Mo. Nick, we got you covered, buddy. But my God, the fishing is going off the frigging charts right now. I mean, it is where we're at in the country. It is absolutely on fire. The fishing was unleashed the last week. I mean, completely off the hinge. Everywhere you go, it's just unbelievable. I snuck out last night after work, jumped on the boat with Anthony Cicero for, I got out in the water 6:30 and we were off the water at 8:30. And I think we had 40 bass. It was absolutely insane, man. Just top water. Best part of my year fishing the Fluke. Fluke's turned on. Unbelievable. So we got out and did a little bit of that. But on the phone today, I was talking to guys who are just stroking them on the flats. They're stroking them in the lakes around here. It's just crazy. So it's really exciting right now. Fishing is, man, you got to go every moment you can. You got to just break away and go because it is definitely happening. Good to see everybody tonight. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to do something really cool tonight, right, George?
We are going to have a bass draft.
Yeah, we are on our one screen over here on the TV. We're watching the NFL draft, and George was like, we are going to do a bass draft.
We are. And the concept is we have 5 positions that we need to fill. And we are going to draft a tour level angler for each position.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about our little twists on those particular positions.
Yep.
And the positions are the jig.
Yep.
The spinnerbait or chatterbait.
/ chatterbait.
Or let's just say wire bait. Could be a buzz bait. You know, what the category in the industry, the category is known as the wire bait category.
Right.
So we're probably going to narrow it down to spinnerbait, chatterbait, but you know what? We are getting into prime buzz bait season right now.
Starting to happen.
So you never know. We might draft a buzz bait specialist and we might talk about buzz bait. And then third is going to be our swim bait. We're going to draft for our swim bait position.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wide open. That could be a swim bait this big on a jig head or a big tennis shoe. We're going to draft our plastics position. And that's kind of ambiguous because, I mean, are we Nico, Wacky, Shaky, Texas, Carolina? Okay.
All over.
And then fifth, we are going to draft for the crankbait position.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna do that.
Absolutely. We're going to get involved with that here tonight. So that's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of great conversations going to come out of that. So we are excited about that segment for sure coming up here in just a little bit. But good to see everybody. Don't forget, coming up, and I'm going to say it probably twice tonight, coming up May 18th is the best tournament on the East Coast. The SFT and the SFTtackle.com Summer Slam tournament will be coming at you May the 18th out of Anchor Marine on the Northeast River. And it is going to be a fantastic time. And most of you guys know what it's about. For the ones that don't, it's a great tournament. It's a tournament we love to put on because everyone is a winner. Everybody who enters this tournament is a winner because of the entry fee. The entry fee isn't cash, although it starts with cash, but you get product. You buy product from our great sponsors, Shimano, G. Loomis, Jackal, and Power Pro. That's our top sponsors for this event. You buy their equipment equaling $250, and that is your entry fee. So you go out fishing, you have a great day, you end up in the money, you cash a check, and you get to keep your tackle. You go out fishing and you have a bad day. So things just didn't work out. You came in with a limit, but it just wasn't big enough. Guess what? You get to keep your tackle. You won the $250 worth of tackle, so you get to keep it. It's a really cool concept. It's something we started many, many years ago. We want to get more people involved with fishing tournaments. We want to get more people involved in the whole atmosphere of tournament angling, what it's about, and without pressure. No pressure at all. We want you to have a good time. And that's what happens at the SummerSlam tournament down on the bay. It is a great event. The buy-in has opened. We have been gathering a ton of people over the last week.
Entries are pouring in.
They are pouring in. Guys are really excited about this year. Really, really great to see a bunch of new people already signed up as 6 or 8 teams that never even fished a tournament before. That's what we're about. That's the guys we want to really get involved with this. And it's just great to see. They're so excited. They can't even stand it. So you guys that are on the fence about it, this is your tournament. This is the one that you want to do because you are going to walk away a winner with your tackle. And it is a great event. So make sure you go online, download the application. You can buy online and then send us the application and we'll match you up with your order. Or you can come into the shop here, place your order, fill out your application, good to go.
You know what I was thinking earlier today with all the phenomenal fishing that's going on that body of water?
Yeah.
And, we're seeing 24-pound bags not get paid.
Yeah.
So I was thinking we'd have a dirty 30 bonus.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I've only ever seen it happen once, so it's not like we're it's kind of like if it snows on Christmas Eve, your diamond ring is free.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's
kind of like that.
Now, my luck is there'll be like 5 dirty 30s. So I'm going to put together a nice dirty 30 bonus.
Yeah.
And if your team can bust 30 or over.
Yeah.
Not 29-15.
Yeah. 30 or over.
30 or over. I'm going to have,
we'll get together with it. We'll announce it.
I mean, I'm thinking pocket full of, that quiet money.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
We'll come up with a nice number for you.
We will. We'll have a really cool incentive bonus. And maybe what we'll do is we'll say, we'll work it out. But
I was thinking about that today because I haven't heard numbers like this in a long time. I mean,
yeah,
it's not uncommon to not cash a check with 20 pounds in the spring on Chesapeake Bay. It's not uncommon for, 23, 24-pound bags in the spring on the chest. It's just not uncommon.
Yeah.
But the number of 7+ pounders and the number of 25+ pound bags this year is uncommon.
Crazy.
And, it's in our whole mid-Atlantic region because I'm hearing some eye-popping numbers from the Potomac River. Obviously, our Susquehanna River is like off the freaking chart.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a dirty 30 bonus, and it won't be some little trivial freaking thing. So stay tuned on that. We're going to see how much money we can squeeze out of Mike's wallet for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
that'd be cool because you don't see that. You don't see that, but
I've only ever been in a tournament down there where it happened one time.
Yeah. And but this is the year. It seems like it's shaping up to be just an incredible tournament. So you're going to have great post spawn fishing, and you're going to have some spawning fishing. You're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. So it's going to be a good.
Our date is peak.
I think so.
Yeah,
I definitely think so.
The next wave of spawning fish, which is the biggest wave of spawning fish, is going to be going on.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep. Sounds like a winner. All righty, let's get this show going here. We're going to jump into a little tackle talk, and this is our favorite segment because we are a tackle shop, and we love talking about tackle. Yeah, baby. This is Tackle Talk, and we love talking tackle. George, what do you have hot, new, and fantastic to talk about tonight?
Oh, man, I've got a little bit of everything. A lot of what I'm going to talk about here is I'm kind of rehashing a few things that are hot.
Yeah.
And, first I want to talk about some product testing that I got in this past weekend. Specifically with the new Megabass 110 SR.
Oh, yeah.
Which stands for shallow runner.
Beautiful.
We broke this down last week, and this is a 1/2 ounce 110 with a 3-foot dive depth. It's a 3-foot diver.
That's key right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously, affect that a little bit with the pound test of line that you use.
Yeah.
But you got a little bit of an upsized hook. It's a 1X hook, so it's one time stronger wire.
It is a little bigger wire, yep.
Than the previous, than the standard 110 hook. And it's a coated hook, so you're getting that real good hook set. It is an out barb.
Mm-hmm.
And they call it a 3-foot runner. So I went to 3 foot of water that had lots of rocks on the bottom and attempted to break the lip off of it. And we caught quite a few fish on it. My fishing partner for the day had big fish, which was 5'1".
Wow, what a smallmouth.
On the Wagasaki color,
murderous color on the Susquehanna River.
110 shallow runner.
Murderous color.
Matter of fact, it's called a 110 SR. And my fishing buddy for the day, Corbin Gottwalt, he proposed that, is it for shallow runner or is it for Susquehanna River? We weren't sure. Because we were on the Susquehanna River and we caught a pile of fish on this jerkbait. So the 110 Megabass SR.
What'd you notice about the action? Was it different than the regular 110? Did it wobble more? Does that lip make it do different things? Is it more subtle? What do you think?
It's definitely not more subtle. The two things that Megabass claimed was, that's an aggressive, which it is. The other thing they claim that if you pop your rod tip upwards, the bait would tend to pop up. I'm not totally sure about that because the water wasn't real clear.
Mm-hmm.
But, in shallow water, that's a trick we do with jerkbait fishing all the time. When we get real shallow for a particular jerkbait that we're fishing, we'll move up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're changing that angle and pulling that bait up to prevent it from getting to its maximum depth.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried both. Cast great. It's half ounce bait. Yeah. Really liked it. So that was the first product testing. That's a winner.
Yeah.
That's going in the box.
Absolutely.
That's going in the box.
Absolutely.
The second product testing I did a lot of work with was the hardliner from Strike King, which I broke down. Also, did I do that last week or?
I think it was last week.
A hardliner. Hardliner could have been last week. Yeah, hardliner. 7/16 ounce, 2.5 inch, 5 to 7 foot. I was fishing this on 10-pound line to get some more depth out of it, and I had no problem hitting the bottom in 5 foot.
Mm-hmm.
I was banging off of rocks quite a bit. I was able to pop it off of my snags really good because I was constantly, temporarily lodging it in a rock and I popped it loose every single time, and I threw it all day long. It casts great.
Yeah, that weight cat must cast really good.
It casts really well. There's no tumbling.
Yeah.
There's no sailing or anything of that nature. Good casting. It was windy. It was 25-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
I was purposely casting it dead into the wind.
Yeah.
And I was wondering where they were coming from with this. And I will liken this to a fritz side. And there probably was what they were looking at. They probably said to the design crew, "Hey guys, in case you didn't notice, Berkeley is kicking our ass with the fritz side.
Yeah,
in year 3.
Yeah,
and we should probably retaliate." Well, if that was their goal, fantastic job.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good looking bait, man. The colors are just spectacular on that thing.
I threw this color all day. And apparently it was the wrong color because I literally did not catch a single fish on this crankbait all day.
Well,
just being real.
Yeah.
But I also threw several other crankbaits, and it just wasn't a crankbait day. But,
yeah,
true to form, and also so when the IRS audits us, I can prove to them that I did write the trip off for testing purposes.
Yeah.
I spent the whole day with these baits. And
this is our evidence.
Had to have obviously after a long day of fishing like that, because we didn't get off the water till 6:30 p.m. It was heavy testing. We had to go to Texas Roadhouse and have a debriefing meeting. So it's going to be quite the receipt that I have in my tax return for next year. But anyways, I wanted to recap those two baits. Enough of that. I know you guys don't want to hear any more about that. But yeah. Hot crankbaits. The Bill Lewis ATV. We are selling out of these things constantly. And the Bill Lewis ATV it's an ATV.
All-terrain vehicle. Is that what that means?
It is an ATV. Straight up ATV. This thing comes through cover exceptionally well. It casts really well. It's a textbook 1.5 size Mustad triple grip trebles. I mean, this is a bad boy right here. We did break this down a couple years ago when it was new, but it's got a rebirth.
Yeah.
I love the position of the rear hook. This baby is a 4-wheel drive crankbait. It's $9.99, but it's already pimped out with
all the good hardware.
upscale hooks. It's got all the good colors. I mean, look at that chartreuse blackback.
It's a beautiful bait.
I got news for you. If you fish in the spring of the year on tidal water and you don't have these two colors, don't even take the boat off the trailer. Chartreuse perch color, which is a real faded out. I mean, the colors just go on and on and on and on and on. So I want to touch up on that with you.
Yeah.
And this chartreuse blackback is called chartreuse shiner.
Ah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, this is the time of the year for that bait right now. And that's, like George said, it's been getting cleaned off the shelves here on a regular basis. And a lot of the guys that are buying them are buying them over and over. So it's a bait that catches fish. They're buying new colors, trying new colors out because they're just excited about it.
Yeah.
And it's like George said, it's got the terminal tackle on it already. Triple grip, must add triple grips. Can't get a better hook for cranking.
Half ounce.
Phenomenal. Half ounce. Chuck it good.
Cast great.
Yep. Beautiful.
3 to 5 foot cranking. More like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is changing the subject again. Another thing that I think, we're all about high vis braid. Everybody who's got the braid on the spinning rod, the chartreuse color is like rules the roost. Blue is really popular. Yeah. Stuff you can see, track. Well, guess what? White. Not clear, white. So if you're looking for a alternative braid color, because I know some people that color coordinate their pound test to their color of their braid.
Oh,
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
But if you like a visible braid,
yeah,
and you're using chartreuse, or maybe you're using blue, or maybe you're using orange or pink, white, and it's super slick.
Nice.
Power Pro Super Slick. 8 to 65, 150s and 300s, white.
Nice.
Yes, it is nice.
Very nice.
It is nice.
White sticks out really good. White really sticks out well.
Well,
and it's not like, the thing about it is it's not a clear white. Like some of the other braids were, or they went for try to get a more clear color to it. It's not that. It sticks out really good, like blue and chartreuse. This is just another really good visible braid, and it's in the V2, which is one of my favorite braided lines out there. That holds together, doesn't fray up, doesn't fade quick at all. That's a big thing for me. It doesn't fade real hard. Just a quality, round, quiet, great casting braid.
Yeah, V2 is
in that V2.
V2 is a great braid.
Very special braid.
And I'm a big believer, Mike. Fish together our whole lives, and we have a lot of similar theories. I mean, I think the downside of low vis line far outweighs any perceived downside of high vis line. Because if you think that your high vis line is costing you bites, think again. First of all, most people who are fishing a spinning rod, which is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Most people that are fishing a spinning rod are bass fishing on a spinning rod, are fishing 8. Not a lot of people. 10, 15. 10 and 15, 10 and 15 are like the deal. Okay. Here's the deal. Most of us are running a 8 to 15 foot leader. So do not think that bright line is affecting your bite, because it's not.
No, not at all.
I mean, we fish in the clearest of clear waters.
Yeah.
The Great Lakes, St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of fish that you miss by not being able to see your line far outweighs the potential for costing you bites.
That's a good point.
And that's just a fact.
That's a good point.
You got to be able to see your line. And, you know, a lot of it's casting. If you're trying to precision cast into, you know, overhanging trees and docks and snag infested environments, you got to see your line. You're going to be in the trees. You know, if you're trying to get you get the trees hanging out over the shade banks, you know, we're going to talk about some stuff later today that involves shade. You know, you got to get that bait there.
Yeah.
So white, super slick.
Brand new.
Not to mention,
Brand new.
I spooled a few of these up the other day. Freaking pretty cool looking on the rod and reel. You know,
Gotta be styling out there. You got to be
not that I'm
styling.
bougie like that, but I will say,
got to be styling. You got to be matching your stuff up.
I think if you had a few of these spooled up laying on the front deck of the boat, you know, a photo shoot could break out. I'm just saying. I mean, really.
I know you'd be a talk of the town coming out to the boat ramp. Did you see that guy's reels on his deck? He had chartreuse, he had blue, and he had white. What is that white?
I don't run the blue.
What is that? What's that white?
I like the chartreuse, and now I'm becoming quite smitten by the white because I can see it. And to me, that's a very important thing.
I fished with Anthony last night, and he had the onyx on.
I know.
It's terrible.
Well, he's got those young eyes.
It's terrible. I couldn't see anything, man. I was casting into bushes and trees and everything. It was terrible.
He's got the young eyes.
Yeah, I guess. It was absolutely horrible.
I have a question here, Mike, about the difference between Max Quattro and Super Slick.
Good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't expect anything less from David Schottelmeyer than a great question.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the difference is in the name, partially. So Max Quattro, that's a 4-carrier braid. So a carrier is a strand. So picture 4 of those coming into one. And you should look up a video of a braiding machine at work because it will absolutely mesmerize you.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to go to.
We've seen it more than once.
Yeah, but I would have loved to have seen it in the factory where they had 1,000 of those machines going all at one time.
Yeah, well,
that'd have been cool as hell.
I forget which perceived disaster canceled that trip at the last minute.
Yeah, it was a last minute cancel because it's whatever we touch, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever we touch,
some kind of incredible, you know, storm came across the ocean, and you know we had to every flight was canceled, and you know,
very disappointing.
We would have had to walk to Colorado. But the braiding machines are mesmerizing to watch. But what's happening is, you know, in essence, you have the little filaments being woven into a strand, and they call that a carrier. I mean, I don't know why they don't call it 4-strand. They got to call it 4-carrier. And then those go into one. So 4 into 1, Max Quattro. And then the Max Quattro is a smaller diameter than Standard Power Pro. So Standard Power Pro is a 4-carrier, and Max Quattro is a 4-carrier. Max Quattro is up to 25% smaller in diameter, which is why Max Quattro is not made below 20 pound.
Yes, and it has to do with the strand.
Well, it's the material they're using.
Yeah, yeah, and,
It's a little bit of a different material.
right, and the strand itself is smaller in diameter, which allows that whole thing to be smaller in diameter.
So
Filaments, I guess, are
that's some
smaller.
freaking definition. I mean
Filament.
the way you broke that down.
No,
I was moving.
I just remember the conversation that we had, and the reason why it's smaller in diameter is that the carrier, okay, is made up of these smaller filaments that are put together that make a smaller carrier because everything is smaller to go, but yet there's more of those strands in each carrier, so it's stronger.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I'm just breaking it down.
I love it.
Yeah,
but he's right. It's stronger, but it's smaller diameter. It's really designed for heavier weight.
Yeah,
it starts at 20, 30. It's a little bit. So that 20 Max Quattro.
A lot of flipping guys are using it.
You got to look at the diameters that are printed on the package.
Yeah.
Okay. To get to where you need to be. But it really shines. Max Quattro really shines in 50 to 100. If you have a reel that can fit X amount of yards of 80 or 100, and you go to Max Quattro, you're going to get 25% more line on the reel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it comes from.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Regular Power Pro is also 4 carrier. Now Super Slick is called Super 8 Slick. That's an 8 carrier. So there's double the carriers. So it's smoother because when you braid it together, you're kind of filling in the gaps. So Super Slick, particularly in the lower poundages, is really well suited to a spinning reel. So standard 4 carrier Power Pro is really well suited to a spinning reel in the lighter weights. 5 to 30, 5 to 20. Super Slick is really well suited to a spinning reel, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the saltwater world, we have a lot of people that are surf casting with, say, 50 that are running Super Slick for that reason. Yeah. Or, what have you on a spinning reel. And, in the bass world, the freshwater world, the light tackle world, the spinning world, it's been Mike and I's experience in the Power Pro brand, we fish other brands also, but in the Power Pro brand on spinning, we're big advocates for Super Slick.
Yeah.
We get great performance out of it. The big thing with braid is the installation. If you guys, when you're installing your line, if you can, back your spool up to the proper level, which takes a little bit of mathematics, or if you do a lot of them, you can just look at it. And then when you put that braid on, put it on tight. Tight, tight, tight. And a little tip that I have for you, if you're hand winding your braid, okay, is I'll take a cloth, a towel, and it's going to be in between my fingers here, and I'll kind of lay my braid in there in a little bit of a S turn and kind of scrumple that towel up a little bit. Now I can control that pressure by tightening or relaxing my grip, because I'm going to hold it up here below the first guide, and I'm going to be winding the reel back here. So I want that on there tight, okay? So, for example, on a typical bass outfit, a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm taking a 150-yard spool and filling 2 reels with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, if you're using 15-pound and you have a 2,500 yards, 2,500, 3,000 size spool, you need a lot of backing. You need like over a half a spool of backing, close to 3/4 of a spool of backing to accomplish that. So That's kind of like if you can put it on tight,
Yeah.
all the complaining and problems that you have will go away.
With backing and the proper anchoring system, anchoring it properly. The other thing about it is that I love about braid is you can get 2 years out of it if you don't snag up all the time. You can get a little bit of time out of that line. You don't have to worry about it breaking down real quick. But after 2 years, you should change it, no doubt.
Yeah, well, typically, you're going to be down online.
Yeah. Depends. Like, I have a reel right now that's 2 years old, and I used it last night and it was fine. I have plain line on there.
Well,
I'm going to change it now, but I'm just saying it was fine. It worked perfectly all the way up to last night. Caught some giants on it. Did I tell you I was on a fluke bite last night?
You did. And I'm all about a fluke bite.
Did I tell you how freaking awesome that was on a fluke bite last night? Just getting back in that fluke game. I mean, somebody tell me they love fluke fishing on here. I mean, because to me, I could do that. I could do that for the rest of the year. I'll be throwing it. I mean, it's just, I'm done. I'm out. I'm just throwing that thing constantly. I love throwing the fluke.
It's tremendous. It's interesting because today's day one of the Elite at Hartwell.
Yeah.
And Hartwell is a fluking lake.
Yeah, exactly.
And it caused me to start thinking, okay?
Yeah.
About the different ways that we have evolved into rigging our flukes.
Yeah.
Because our traditional manner, and I don't necessarily have the right size fluke here for all these hooks, but I grabbed a pack of white ones because we can see them. So our traditional manner is the EWG hook, right? So, we all know how to rig an EWG hook, where we come down through the nose. And you want it to be perfectly straight. You only want to come in there to the beginning of the bend. Bring that point out exactly on the, can't really see it. Turn it. I like to sink the eye. And then, of course, you just kind of measure it up. And again, I know you can't see this, but you get the idea. And through the back. If you need to, you can skin it for cover. So that's your traditional EWG rigging.
That's the way I like to do it.
It's hard to see, but when I get all three of them rigged up, I'll come around to where we can get a real close up. All right, now what I started learning a couple years ago from watching like this Hartwell tournament is these pros. They got me thinking. They're taking a Nico hook, and this is a cover shot. From Owner. Every company makes one, but you got to have one with the little keeper. It can't be a Nico hook without a keeper. Okay, so this would be the same hook you would use to Texas rig your drop shot worm, like we talked about last week. And this, they thread on. So it's kind of like threading on a minnow bait on your drop shot rig. Only you're not drop shotting. So you're just going to straight shank it. Just like you were going to, take a baby Z2 and thread it on. Now you got a bunch of exposed hook and a great hookup ratio. I'm going to bring these around. So I know you're frustrated with the view.
I get it.
Now, third, and this is something that I have experienced when fishing with some of our good friends who do a lot of guiding for SFT tackle, and that is a father-son team that are guiding with us, Tony and Anthony Cicero, and this is the only way that they fish a fluke, and it's awesome. It's nose hooking. That's your EWG rig. The first one Mike showed you was your straight shank rig. And here's your nose hook rig. This is a owner mosquito hook. Anthony and Tony like to fish a Gamakatsu octopus hook. And all three of these methods, are part of like the evolving of this fishery, this technique, this fishing technique. It's evolving. We're learning. We're, furthering the fluke because the fluke's deadly. Fluking is deadly. You need to become a master at fluking. And down here in Hartwell, you can bet they are throwing them some flukes. And I mean throwing some flukes. Now, what's the best? Well, I don't think that can be answered. I think your hookup ratio is, it's too hard to put into words because it depends on the angler. What I would do if you're serious about your fluke game, I would experiment with all three rigging methods. Depending on your fishery, obviously the nose hook and the straight shank isn't going to work too good if you're fishing lay down trees and grass beds. But if you're fishing open water, I would probably experiment with it.
Yeah. There's a question on there about whether you weight them or not. Don't really weight them too much. There's a time and a place for that, especially windy days and deeper point when you're fishing deeper points and the bait's a little bit deeper, that down to about 10, 12 feet of water and the bait's hovering around that point. Then we do some things to weight it, but
we do one thing to weight it.
Yeah. Well, we use a swivel.
We take a barrel swivel and put it about 12 to 18 inches in front of the fluke. Flukes by nature sink quickly, and brands of flukes vary. For example, the Zoom Super Fluke, is what we're going to call the baseline, the standard, the fluke by which all others are to be compared with. The Strike King caffeine shad is one of the heaviest.
Yeah.
So, where you might fish a barrel swivel on a Zoom Super Fluke, you probably won't need that on the caffeine shad. The Yamamoto D shad. I mean, when you pick a pack of these up, these are dense. The D should stand for dense. The Yamamoto dense shad. They're heavy. These sink. So, the more serious you get with this, the more you're going to need to branch out and experiment a little bit. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a couple of different ways to get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, William? Clute, how are you, buddy?
Sounds like we need to go to New York.
JP, yo, how are you, pal? Yeah, I mean, fluke fishing, there's a lot to it. But can be really simple. It can be a super simple technique. You don't really have to get too crazy about it. Especially around where we're at, you can do it very, very easily. It's relatively snag proof.
Yeah, I mean, this is
it's a lot of fun because it's relatively snag proof.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
And you can fish it through a lot of stuff. And it just makes it fun. It makes it a fun way of fishing. Sometimes you fish it fast, sometimes you fish it slow, just like you would any other bait. You want to work it hard sometimes. Other times you want to, kill it and let it sink a little bit, let it swim around a little bit, let it sink down to the bottom a little bit, just depending on what the situation is. I could tell you last night when I started getting on those boys were catching a couple. I was throwing the mag draft around. Those boys were catching them, but when I picked up the fluke, then I figured out what the fish wanted with it, and then it was game over. I had a fish on every other cast, and what they wanted last night was they wanted to settle to the bottom. The fish were up sniffing around for spawning, and they wanted that bait to get real slow and down on the bottom, and then twitch up off the bottom and let it recontact the bottom. And they just absolutely annihilated that thing. So every day's different. You just mess around with it. Pretty cool.
That is a good point. So you got to experiment with that every day because the tempo seems to change. A lot of times you're just like, it's like fishing a jerkbait, pop, pause, twitch, pause. And that's sufficient. Sometimes it's like what we call dead sticking a jerkbait, only when you dead stick a fluke, it's slowly sinking.
Yeah.
And it's got this tantalizing, spiral kind of death spiral to it. And, that can be the bite. Sometimes you'll miss a fish, kill it, and they'll come back and smoke it it feel like a jig bite.
Yeah.
So really, really pay close attention to that. As well as, I saw a question on here. Do you fish with braid? It's a great question. I mean, the benefit of braid is longer casting distance, which is really important. Like, for example, let's go back to the elite at Hartwell. These guys have to be able to cast super far.
The water is super clear.
And you'll see a lot of these guys casting with a bait caster because, it will outcast the spinning reel distance-wise. The braid will outcast straight fluoro. So, in a lot of cases when you're fluke fishing, your water visibility is good, casting distance is important, and braid really helps with that. The other thing that braid really helps with is hook set.
Yeah, at the end of the long cast.
Right, because you will miss some fish on a fluke, which is why we talked about the different rigging methods that these guys on the Elite Series at lakes like Hartwell have spawned. The straight shanked hook, the nose hook. That's where all that stuff came from. Because it's pretty frustrating when you have, 3 to 5 pound fish that are feeding on herring, blowing up on your bait, eating it, and you're missing them.
Yeah, well, they don't know about the patented drop back maneuver.
Well, I think they do. Also, you'll notice a lot of those guys are fishing a casting rod for a little more power because they're fishing a 5/0 hook because of the frustration level. So,
yeah.
The world of fluke fishing is something you need to get in, stumble around in. I would really encourage you to try the different hooking techniques. I would really encourage you to experiment with braid or just straight fluoro. I would really encourage you to experiment with spinning or casting. I mean, the more you experiment to it, the more you'll get yourself dialed in. Now, me, For the majority of my fluke fishing, and Mike's the same way, spinning rod, medium fast, medium extra fast, even medium heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're fishing open water for the most part, 8-pound leader, you know, to braid. And if that's not available, pick up a rod with straight 8-pound fluorocarbon because, again, this is a finesse technique. We're not looking to fish. Now, if I was fishing, you know, a situation like Hartwell, I'd probably boost that up just because the fish are big. You watch tournament tomorrow and watch how these fish are ripping drag off these reels. But I wouldn't go above 10 because of the water clarity and the visibility.
Yeah, they're really.
Yeah, I mean, and it's open
really
water. I mean, it's not like they're going to pull you down into a brush pile.
When you need a
because of the depth.
When you need a distance for me on what the way I fish when I am throwing a fluke and it's clear, super clear water, I put it on spinning. I use 10-pound braid and I use a 10-foot leader of fluorocarbon, and I can get my maximum distance out of that. Bait caster for me, nah, can't do it. Can't get the right cast out of it. Can't get the distance out of it. I'm not fishing. I don't know. I just can't get it. I can't get that extra 10 feet that I need with the, with the cast. So when I have to get the distance, I use 10-pound braid to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I can zing it out there, man, farther than I need to. And I can get the hook set with the braid, which is important also. And I can work that bait, I can chop that bait real choppy. And with that braid, I can really get it to flash, 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 and let it fall real good. And then on a dead stick, you can feel that bite real good. You get that nice pop, that little touch. Last night they were just touching it, and I could feel it. I was setting a hook because I was doing a lot of dead sticking last night. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Time of the year for it. Give it a whirl. What else you got, big boy?
Well, I got a finesse rod that I want to break down. BFS is such a big deal, but I got a rod here that excels with BFS, but it's got a little bit more juice to it. So I just call it FS.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this rod. I've been selling a ton of them. And for a finesse bait caster, let's say that you don't like to fish your finesse baits on a spinning rod. Let's say you don't like to fish a TRD on a spinning rod, or you're not too big on fishing a small 2.5-inch tube on a spinning rod, or you like to throw some, little 3/16 quarter-ounce crankbaits, or you like to throw, let's say you like to throw the Karashi on a bait casting rod. Stuff like that. Little 70 and 80 jerk baits. You don't necessarily need a BFS rod for that. You need a FS rod. I mean, you can use a BFS rod, but some of those are pretty light.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a light, but it's tapered like a traditional fast tapered rod. It's just appropriately powered. So we have an extra fast tip. That's an extra fast tip. By definition, that is an extra fast tip.
No doubt.
That's a solid tip. So from here up to here is solid. Okay? That's what gives it that extra fast, the ability to shake and cast a small bait. But we got plenty of juice back here for throwing the other baits. So this is like a BFS rod that doesn't identify as a BFS rod.
We had a guy buy one and came back in after he bought it, and he was just completely ecstatic about it because he could fish a tube on it. He said, he told me that
Small tube.
Huh?
Small tube.
Yeah. He's fishing a 2.5-inch
Yep,
tube and a
yep.
Ned rig. And
It's perfect.
he was totally ecstatic because he just liked to get away from the spinning and throw the tubes and the Ned rigs and those kind of things on a bait casting rod. And he has a Corrado BFS Corrado on that exact rod, and he was able to throw that stuff really nice. Some of the real light BFS rods, maybe you couldn't do that, but this one here, no problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's a BFS rod. First of all, it's 7 foot long. Most BFS rods are 6'8" and shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 7 foot long. Okay. Solid tip. I mean, 3/32 to 5/16 is the rating.
Yeah, no doubt.
10th ounce Ned head with a TRD.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yep. And,
you can put a BFS reel on here, but you could also put
70.
A 70.
Yeah.
You could put a 70 Corrado. You could put let's get a 70 Tatula.
Sure.
Or you could put a BFS reel on here. 5 to 10 line. I mean, this is a BFS that does, grown up BFS things. It's a Zodius Shimano. It's 229. If you've been having a hankling on this,
yeah,
holler at your boy and I'll talk you through it, because this thing's bad to the bone.
BFS is taking off in a huge way for us, and it's been accelerating here this spring, and guys are just having a lot of fun with it. It just allows them to get away from the spinning rods and do the same stuff on a bait caster that you would do on a spinning, and they love it.
And this one does that plus.
That's why I like that one, and I think you can throw a 3.5-inch tube on that, bro. No problem.
Well, you could.
No problem.
I mean, you could. But that's not really that important to that rod.
No, I'm just saying, if you wanted to get away from spinning, that would be the rod to do it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would work great.
So good stuff.
Yep.
And then last but not least, because of the swim jig season, I got something here that's overlooked by many. This is a swim jig on steroids. Very good. I fished this jig. This is legit. This is called a Mega Bass
Uzi.
I mean, I call it Uzo, but it's probably Uzi.
Uzi.
What's that liquor that the
Uzo.
Italians drink?
Uzo.
Or is that Italians?
Yeah. Uzo.
Keep it in the refrigerator.
Greeks and Italians.
Yeah,
love
Greeks. Well, your boy Baldori.
He's an Italian.
He used to bang us up on that once in a while.
He was big on the Zambuca.
Ah, Zambuca, yeah.
Yeah, he was big on the Zambuca.
I got a little confused.
Yeah.
I didn't, I tried not to hang out over his place too often.
No,
because
that stuff will sneak up.
Check this out. Titanium wire. Okay. Look how it snaps back to shape. A little 3 blade. And this is a heavy gold plated blade, nickel plated blade, hand tied skirt, hand tied double keeper that's made out of like fluorocarbon. Look at that hook. That's a slick hook.
Yep, slick hook.
Perfect weed. I mean, this thing's perfect.
It is a bad to the bone jig.
Comes in a lot of weights. We carry 3/8 and half. $11.99. And yeah, check it out. If you're into swim jigs, this has a place in your box. For sure. Wanted to point that out. It's got all the good features. Yeah, so that's, a little bit of a different take on tackle talk. Kind of like next week, I'll go back to the latest and the greatest and the dropping the product and all that happy stuff. But I don't know. I was just some stuff that was hitting me in the face all week since last week. I'm like, we need to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I really like the spin-off conversations.
Love it. Love it. Well, there you have it. Tackle Talk for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. And there's some great ideas for you to have for applying to what you guys are currently doing. The water temperatures are heating up pretty good. I think we had 56-degree water temperature last night. And I tell you, we had topwater fish last night. Of course. Smashed them on topwaters too. They were missing it a lot. So it told me it was, it was great because
they could have been on beds.
That's exactly what they were doing. And they were starting to bed up, and Anthony was missing a bunch of them. So I would just follow up with he was finding them for me, and I was just annihilating them.
That's dirty.
It is dirty.
That's dirty.
Just sit there and wait for them
That's
to swirl.
dirty.
I'd fire
dirty.
it. Take it right out.
I'll tell you what, you do that when I'm driving the trolling motor and hard lefts, hard rights.
Well, I'm just
going to try to cut.
It was a fun night. It was a fun night. I'm
just going to try to cut your line off.
Wasn't about who was catching them.
I just want to cut your line off if you do.
Although I enjoyed catching the hell out of them.
So Mike, today, day one of the Elite at Hartwell.
Yep.
And we talked about fluke fishing based upon this Hartwell thing, because let's face it, it's those herring lakes, they're fluke fishing. They're spectacular fluke fishing lakes. I saw a Facebook post from Brian New where he was boiling his flukes. And I found it interesting because I know, and this is just true. This is a true thing now. I'm fishing with Mike, and he'll open up a bag of flukes, pull a fluke out. It's got a crooked tail. He'll throw it on the floor of the boat. I pick it up and use it, but like he doesn't even put it back in a bag. He just throws it right down on the floor of the front deck or the back deck, wherever he's at.
I told you to be careful how you store them. I told you I pick them out straight when I buy them. I pick them out straight. And
Brian New's Facebook post, he's like, boil them, but don't have your water boil, and have it right below boil, 10 to 15 seconds. It softens them and it straightens them out. And it looked like he cooked up like 10 boxes of ziti, man. He had them piled up. I was looking for the sauce. You like it a sauce?
You don't like it a sauce? Yeah.
So I was thinking of you today when I saw that.
That's a big thing for me, man.
Yeah.
Big thing.
If you get to that point,
it's so big for me. I'm trying to come up with a better storing mechanism, way of storing them.
Yeah, he had his laid out in some kind of a Tupperware snap-on deal.
Because that's where it's at. When they sit in a boat, you put them back down there. Your boat's bouncing around. The packages slip up on their end, and they sit like that until you get to them. We always carry 15 packs in the boat all the time. So,
well, you're not necessarily one for like proper storage techniques or.
Well, I know.
Putting stuff away.
I got to come up with something better so I can just put them in there, and I don't know. I got to do something.
Well, anyways, the whole thing. So, what I noticed today was, for example, Randy Howe's leading with 21 pounds and 11 ounces. And I found
Good for him, man. I'm so happy for him. I
found it interesting. When Jacob Porosnik weighed in, he said, I was running to that fish that Randy caught because we both had it marked, and he beat me to it. And he said, I watched him catch it on the first cast, 8-pounder.
Unbelievable.
Game changer.
That is a game changer.
So you can assume that Randy was sight fishing most of the day.
He still did well, even if he didn't have that. He still would have had a good bag.
Yeah. Koyo Fujita.
Yeah.
In second with 20 pounds, 9 ounces.
What a
big bag.
What a freaking what is up with that guy? He is unbelievable.
And he said he went up shallow today and caught 2 big largemouth shallow, and it made his day. So he's going to go largemouth fishing tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sixth place, Drew Cook.
Mm.
Got to see him catch
Love Drew Cook, man. My boy.
Got to see him catch a good one on a clutch darter this morning. First fish of the day.
Yeah.
And that's, this tournament is everything from sight fishing to opportunistic bites on a glide bait.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to catch a limit on a glide bait, but you're going to have, a big spawner that you're going to catch on a glide bait or a big post spawner.
Yeah.
I mean, there's topwater bites.
Yeah, and right behind Drew Cook is the other Drew Benton. He's like an 8th or 9th.
Yeah, I kind of skipped around.
Yeah, I saw. I know, but I'm just telling you, in between there and 10th is Drew Benton, and these guys are sight fishing masters.
Yeah,
absolute sight fishing lake masters.
And there's a lot of fish being caught sight fishing, but there's also a lot of fish being caught scoping.
Yeah, there is, and
there's a lot of fish being caught.
I heard Drew Benton say that
schooling on herring.
Yeah,
and blowing up on herring.
Well, I heard Drew Benton say that when he went for his fish, he said half of them are gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well, that process is quick.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't take long.
I mean, they move up, they lay their eggs, they're gone.
Yeah. Those guys love sight fishing. George and I were saying how boring, how horrible of a tournament would be, because if this, in this tournament here, all they were doing is put the trolling motor down and just driving around in practice and looking for beds and marking fish.
Oh yeah, I hate
and how boring and horrible that would be.
I hate spawning tournaments where you have to bed fish,
and because you have to cover like miles and miles of water to find
just troll your way around the lake.
Yeah, it's so boring.
G-Man's 10th with 18.3, but sight fishing, flukes, topwater, glide baits. I mean, we're seeing it all, full array. So tomorrow's going to be really exciting. Can't wait to watch that, see what we can learn. Yeah, so last week, I wanted to talk about this NPFL on Norman, that Greg Hackney one.
Man. All right, so you guys can all be calming down because old Hackney's back on track.
He had a really good St. Lawrence tournament in 23, and he caught his fish out at Cape Vincent on a tube. Now, that's about as old school as you get.
Yeah. I'm so happy for him that he won that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
And he won that shaky head and wacky rig, which got me thinking, Strike King finesse worms have won $470,000 in the last 3 weeks.
Jeez.
Fothergill won the Classic. Fothergill took second at second. Was he second at Pasquotank?
He was there. He was right up there, second or third.
Second or third.
Yeah.
Pasquotank. I think he was second.
Yeah, he might have been.
And let's take a look at my notes. I mean, I got him.
Why'd you skip a page here?
Well, I got caught up in the moment. No, he didn't even make top 5. He made top 10 on a worm.
Yeah.
And Hackney caught him on a shaky head and a 4-inch fat baby finesse on a shaky head and a 6.5-inch fat baby finesse on a wacky rig.
Mm.
He was targeting the largemouths.
Nico Regan?
Wacky.
Oh, wacky.
And he was targeting the small, the spots were deeper, so he was shaky heading that. And they're great worms. They're great worms. I love that coffee scent. And I found that interesting. Second was KJ Queen with 47.1. Hackney had 47.11. It was tight. Kyle Welcher, Third place, 45-1.
He's having a hell of a year.
And I'm getting to a point here. Bronco Bug. And today he was riding the old Bronco Billy Bug. I mean, he's made more money on a damn Bronco Bug. Patrick Waters was fourth for 44-13. And Drew Cook was sixth with 41-13. Now, my question is, will the NPFL outlaw elites? Because they are coming in.
Yeah.
And they are taking everybody's lunch money.
They want them. They want them. They are not gonna. They want them all to come over.
Patrick Waters
That's what
has
they
made
want.
like $400,000 with the NPFL.
Yeah, they want them all over there.
I mean, this is becoming like.
That's what they want. They want the guys that don't like the forward facing to all come over. Every single one of them. That's what's drawing all these guys.
Well,
that's what's drawing them.
You're right.
Period.
I think that whole
$100,000.
I think that whole debate and argument is dying down, anyways.
No, it is. I'm just saying that's why they're going over. I mean, look at Hackney.
Look at
Hackney since he's gotten on the Elite Series, and look at Hackney since he's been fishing NPFLs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this year is his first year there.
Exactly. And guess what? He's won one.
Okay.
And how's he done in
I'm not
Elites?
Prepared to answer that.
Yeah.
Well, I know in 2023 he did really well at the Thousand Islands.
He didn't win one.
And I know he almost won the St. John's River last year on a spinnerbait. Almost doesn't count though.
No.
But
no,
it's still really freaking good. So, when you're going to bring up stats like that,
yeah,
have them down on paper.
I'm not bringing up stats. I'm just saying, look at it.
But I can't because I don't know how he finished.
These guys are going to roll over to there and they're going to fish because it's first of all, it's for $100,000 and they're competitive.
That's why they're over there.
And they're competitive bass fishermen. Number two is, they're more and more coming over because of the no forward facing sonar. It takes it back to old school fishing. That's what they're used to. You can see it's a lot of the older guys that are fishing them. What they're used to. What they like.
Well, KJ Queen, he's in his 20s. Kyle Welcher.
I'm not going to sit here and debate ages.
Just telling you.
I'm not going to debate ages with you, but the guys that don't like forward facing are going to fish the NPFL. Is that not a good statement for you?
I mean, I'm not totally comfortable with it because second, third, and fourth love forward facing.
I'm saying that as a competitor, I'm not saying they're winning it. I'm saying that their competitors are coming over to that because of its non-forward facing.
That could definitely be true.
I guarantee you.
That could definitely be true.
And as they drop out of the Elite Series, they all go to the NPFL. They all fish them. I'm not saying they win them. I'm saying that's where they go because they have a hard on over the forward facing sonar.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that whole
listen to Gerald Swindell talk about it. Why he fishes them.
And he's still fishing the elites.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in 10th place today.
Yeah. But, he said the reason he fishes them because it's old school fishing and it's non-forward facing. He likes it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you just asked.
I think that whole
debate there's a lot of
is dying down.
Well, yeah, you can't whoop a dead horse any more than what that's been whooped.
Yeah. And I'm a true believer in that. A ton of the talk is inaccurate. A ton of the people that are bitching about forward-facing sonar and what it's doing to tournament fishing.
No, it's not inaccurate.
That's my opinion.
Look at the bags.
It's my opinion.
Look at the bags down there.
I don't accept people's opinions when they're not like experts on forward facing
No,
sonar.
but look at the bags down on that Lake Gunnersville. The 30-pound bags coming in at Lake Gunnersville. Over and over and over, 2, 3, 4 30-pound bags of tournament. Is it Gunnersville or another one? That whatever.
Well, I mean, the only lake I know that had
multiple, still bringing them in
30-pound bags was Clear Lake.
No,
out in California, they had like 5 over 30.
Yeah, but these are multiple tournaments with multiple bags of 30-pound bags that they never had in Gunnersville at the time of the years that they were bringing them in.
Yeah, I don't know.
And 29-pound bags and 28-pound bags and what the hell's going on? Blah blah blah. All this stuff. Yeah,
I don't know.
Forward facing, bro.
I don't know. I just don't know those stats.
It's jig fishing, minnow fishing, what they call it. I mean, I don't have no problem with it whatsoever. I'm just saying it changed the freaking game. Totally changed the game. Who's in first place? Randy Howe. Well, he was sight fishing. Who's in second place?
Koyo Fujito.
Yeah, he's a big time.
He caught his 2 biggest fish up on the bank.
Yeah. And then
Drew Cook caught all his fish on the bank.
G-Man caught all his on the bank.
So forward facing, not so much.
Not on this tournament.
Not on the last tournament either.
Not on this tournament. And,
I'm just
and
saying,
the guy who won the tournament at the last one was forward facing all day. Caught every one of his fish forward facing. On he could see him in the stumps and made the right cast.
Well, he said the real reason why the forward facing helped him was so he could see the stumps.
Yeah,
because the water was too dirty.
Yeah.
And he kept driving his trolling motor into the stumps.
Yeah.
And the real reason that the forward facing was so important to him was to see the stump. He
figured out how.
No, that's what he said.
Yeah, but he figured out how to see the fish on that in that dirty water, and what was blowing everybody away, it wasn't on perspective, it was on regular forward facing.
Yeah.
And he figured out how to see the fish inside the root ball with the forward facing to make the right cast. That's how the whole thing went down.
That's not what he said.
He also said that it also helped him find specific targets.
Yeah.
Also,
he said the biggest strength for it was finding the stump, so he didn't run into them with his trolling motor.
That's one interview. The other interview was the one where he broke it down real big time, and that was on Mercer. Really cool interview.
I'll bet.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this fun time now.
The draft.
We're watching the draft.
You know, it would be awesome.
Look, they just did the draft right over here. We missed it.
It would be awesome if you had like some draft sounds.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Not
after the day not after the day I had today, but I'll give you this.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah. It's the draft.
That's pretty cool. Now, I need a cold beverage.
All right, so what we're going to do is, like George said, we're gonna draft a team, but also draft some baits to go along with our categories. So we got our categories of the bass jig. We've got a category of the crankbait. We've got the category of plastics. And we have a category of spinnerbait. Chatterbait was what we talked about. I know George said wire, but it was a spinnerbait or chatterbait. And then the last one is a category of swim bait. So you guys, what you guys can do is, you can kind of throw in your little picks as we go through the each category. But I will tell you this, you know what we're doing. We're gonna talk about each one of our baits real quick, and we're gonna tell you what jig we like and how we like to fish it, and then we're gonna go to our pick, and it should be a lot of fun. Should be a good time. But good to see everybody here tonight. I just want to say one more time, make sure you go and check out the tournament information. It is now open for the best tournament on the East Coast, Susquehanna Fishing Tackle, sfttackle.com, SummerSlam tournament down on the Chesapeake Bay. This is a tournament unlike any other tournament. has a $250 buy-in of tackle from Jackal, G. Loomis, Power Pro, and Shimano. That's the 4 companies you can buy from, equaling $250 for the boat. You guys can split it up. There's 2 guys in the boat. You can split it up. That's your entry fee. And guess what? If you just have a bad day of fishing, you get the keep the tackle. And that's what's special about it. Everybody who fishes this tournament is basically a winner, and you're leaving the tournament with your tackle, but you're getting an opportunity to fish for your part of $10,000 in prizes that we're giving away at this tournament. And it is going to be a really special event. So make sure you go online to sfttackle.com. There's a big banner there. Click on that. All the information is there for you. If you're a first timer and you're thinking about it, fishing a tournament, and you're like, I don't want to give up money and stuff. Hey, come buy some tackle. You get to keep the tackle. No pressures on you. As soon as you get on the water, you already won the tournament. You can just fish with a nice conscience and have a great time and see why everybody thinks that this is one of the best tournaments on the East Coast. So check it out. May the 18th is a tournament. The buy-in goes until May the 17th. And if you have any questions, you can always call the shop here. We'll help you out with that. So very good. All right. First category in our draft is the bass jig. Is that right, George?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bass jig. And George, what is your pick for the best bass jig in your mind and the best bass angler to fish it?
So I can't really pick a best bass jig. I have to pick 3. And the reason I have to pick 3 is because...
Did we almost get in a roll down fight on this one time?
No. The reason I have to pick 3 is because every day that I fish, I have a power finesse jig, I have a full-size jig, and I have a swim jig tied up. And they're all 3 different. So, but my jig fisherman is a sleeper pick. Now, take in mind, I mean, this is tour level guys that we can pick from.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm probably a little biased here. But I've fished with this man. I've known him for many, many years. And not to mention, he's a personal friend. I mean, if you've ever fished with Greg DePalma on a jig bite, you will see like mastery. There's things jig fishermen do that are honed over decades of experience. And there's so many awesome jig fishermen out there because the jig is a standard deal. I mean, if you watched the weigh-in today on Hartwell, you heard everybody talking about the jig. I mean, they're throwing it. So, you know, my personal favorite like power finesse jig currently, and this may change, is the Greenfish Tackle Itty Bitty.
Which you talked about 1,000 different
times.
A
million times.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to draft something. I mean, I have other ones that I love. I mean, but I can only pick one. My personal favorite, like flipping jig, standard full-size flipping jig, currently is the Greenfish Tackle. So bad. Little rubber jig. And it's funny because I've only been fishing this jig for a year. And I love it. And then my personal favorite swim jig. I like a little more of a compact swim jig. Not like a full, big, heavy-duty swim jig. Although I do pick my swim jig based on the hook. And I really like the Dirty Jigs straight-up swim jig. Now, having said that, my jig box is home to probably about 4 different brands. And for example, in Power Finesse jig, so far this year I haven't fished the itty bitty jig. Fishing other jigs. But anyways, that's my draft. I'm drafting GDP, and those are my jigs.
Okay.
All right, Mike, you're on the clock.
Dun, dun,
No.
dun, dun,
No.
dun, 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 dun.
Now,
The pick is in. The pick is in. Mike Acord chooses 30 jigs pitching jig. Woo! Woo! Yeah, baby! 30 jigs, flip pitching jig in the green pumpkin crawl color has caught more fish than any other color, matched up with all different types of trailers. It's just a color. It's just a bait that you can throw in grass. You can throw in timber. You can drag it on rock. You could do so many things, but they nailed the color with jig fishermen, and it's got lots of different greens and browns in it. And it's just a good, solid, when you don't know what's going on, you put this kind of color on here in this jig. The other one I was kind of fighting with was one called Definite Watermelon, because I have that one too, and I like that one, and I fight back and forth on it too. But I really feel like the all-around color is the green pumpkin crawl. This will get it done. This will get you the yardage you need, and this will get you the wins you need with the greatest draft pick ever for a jig.
well, don't forget, we make a lot of adjustments to our jigs by our trailers.
Absolutely.
We
Tons.
in 1 minute we're throwing a black and blue crawl trailer on a green pumpkin jig.
Yep.
The next minute we're throwing a sapphire blue chunk.
Yep.
The next minute we're throwing the old Tyler Williams green pumpkin.
We're all over that now. We're all over top of that. Yep, absolutely.
It's kind of like the jig is only half of the draft.
It is.
It's a two-way player.
It is a two-way player. Now, let me tell you something.
We should call this jig Travis Hunter.
Should be the Travis Hunter.
Just saying.
For sure. Now, to fish this great jig, to fish this great bait, to fish this color that will catch you fish, you've got to have an angler that has honed and made his career on jig fishing. Probably has won more money than anybody else on a jig.
Oh.
Been around the game so long, he understands everything. George and I had phenomenal conversations with this gentleman on and off the water. He is a legendary jig fisherman, and I can't believe that George passed this up.
It was hard.
I am going with Denny Brower.
Yeah.
The man himself, Denny Brower,
Yep.
is going to fish those jigs, and he is going to be the man who's going to put me
Can't
over
go
the
wrong.
top on the jig.
Can't go wrong.
Cannot go wrong.
I mean, that's how we learned how to jig fish.
That's right.
Was from Denny.
Absolutely. We have conversations. The conversations were epic. So Denny Brower is going to fish that jig, and that is the pick for Mike Acord, the number 1 pick on the bass jig for the 2025 Bass Fishing League. George had to walk away because he has to prepare himself. He wasn't ready for the power and the preciseness of my delivery.
No, I got my guy.
All right, next up, we're going to do the crankbait.
Oh.
And this is a category that is exciting. You can go in many, many different ways on this. Mr. Acord, what is your number 1 crankbait pick?
Well,
and where are you at on
I'm
that?
not going to go brand. I'm going to go style. I'm going to go square bill. Because there's just too many variations on square bill.
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, 1.5 is my go-to.
How can you go wrong?
Okay. That's my go-to, but there's times I need to size up. There's times I need to size down. But I'm drafting the square bill, and I'm going to do something here that is a little different. I'm going to go with who I think is one of the best square bill fishermen ever.
Don't even say it.
Takahiro Omori.
You have history with him.
Well, I watched him win the Classic.
Yeah.
And I watched him on live win at least one tournament, if not two, and finish very high in many. He is so good with a square bill, and a square bill in the whole world of cranking lets you fish 3/4 of the year.
Yeah.
And depending on where you live, the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of on your deck most of the time.
Yeah.
So that was my rationale there.
Perfect. Great pick. The pick is in. And
So sad.
The pick is in. The number
So
2
sad.
pick is in. And Mike Acord's second pick is for the crankbait, the Chick Magnet. Chick Magnet. Yes, by Strike King, the Chick Magnet. I know everybody's been talking about this bait. We've been talking about it. We've been bringing this bait up through the ranks ever since day one and what it's all about. We've caught pounds and pounds and tonnage of fish on it. This particular color is your dirty water color. I picked this one because this is the bait that caught me the most fish in the last 2 years. And it has a circuit board lip. It is a bait that if you don't have this in your box, you're absolutely crazy. It will catch them in dirty water and it'll catch them in stained water. And in the springtime, I just caught up in the springtime thing. It is a color that we have tied on all the time. And I just love the wobble. It has a special wobble to it, a special design on the body. It's a square bill, but that body shape really gives it a real wide kind of wobble to it and really thumps your rod tip. So it puts out a lot of vibration in the water also when you're fishing the stained and dirty water. So the Chick Magnet is my number 1 pick for my 2025 bass team. And the guy that's going to fish it is a shallow water cranking master. And he put the square bill on the map many years ago. One of the greatest of all times, the GOAT himself, Kevin Van Dam. Yes, sir. Kevin Van Dam is my crankbait master, and he is going to be throwing my crankbait for the 2025 season. Thing about Kevin Van Dam, not only is he a shallow water cranking expert, and but he really revolutionized square bill fishing.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely put it back on the map. And a lot of these guys owe it to Kevin Van Dam, a lot of their wins because of the way he fished the square bill and what he did with the square bill and how he fished it under all different cover situations. But also, if you look at him and you really want to have a guy that's a well-rounded crankbait fisherman, put a 6XD in that man's hand. Look out. Look out. So that is my pick, George.
Beautiful.
My number 2 pick is in Kevin Van Dam.
All right, number 3. We're going to go to what we're going to call the wire bait category.
Wire bait?
That could be a spinner bait. That could be a chatter bait. That could be a buzz bait.
Yep.
We're calling it the wire bait category.
Yep.
And with, one of the most revolutionary lures of our time that we saw the rise of this thing, the explosive nature of it. I mean, we saw Brian Thrift win all these tour events right off the get-go. It's the chatterbait. I mean, I don't know how you cannot pick the chatterbait.
Very difficult. That was a very difficult decision.
It's very difficult to not pick this. The chatterbait has revolutionized bass fishing over the course of the last 15 plus years. If you're not an expert bladed jig fisherman, you need to get with the program. I'm going jackhammer. I have unwavering confidence in jackhammer.
Bar none.
I just can't I just can't go another way. And the guy that I'm drafting to throw this bad boy and wind it in
Yep.
is Stephen Browning,
Oh, man.
who I think
Great
is one of the
pick.
best chatterbait fishermen ever.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good at it. Stephen Browning.
What I like about the chatterbait is the versatility. And I think Stephen Browning in his career has shown, I mean, he's just like winding this thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made the majority of his money on it. He is, always changing up his trailers, his retrieves. We learned so much from watching him. Now, obviously, there's a lot of hardcore picks out there. I mean, I got 5 of them in my head spinning around. I had a hard time picking Stephen Browning over, B Height.
B Height.
I mean, Brian Thrift. I mean, I just had a hard time picking him, but I really think that in the last, 8 or 10 years, he's done the most with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably.
Yeah. Very good pick.
Yep.
Okay. The number 3 pick for the Mike Acord Bass team. Da-da-da, da-da-da. For the wire bait category, which is the chatterbait, spinnerbait. For what I was thinking, how can you not go with the spinnerbait? And my choice is the War Eagle Spot Remover Nickel. Very critical that you go nickel head on this bait because of the gold. Silver is gold on top, silver on the bottom, and that is a critical factor for you when you're dealing with the spot remover for all conditions. There's a time and a place for the gold spot remover, which is reversed, silver on top, gold on the bottom. There's a lot of conditions for that, but for me, I do my damage. And I like it in the big blade style. This is a 1/2 ounce big blade style. It's not the Screaming Eagle. This is the regular War Eagle with a number 4, 4.5 willow leaf blade. Absolute killer. Spot remover. How can you go wrong with it?
Tremendous.
It's just a great all-around killer. We catch so many fish on it. I like them better the older they get and the chartreuse washes out of them a little bit. The sun beats on them a little bit and washes that chartreuse and doesn't make it quite as bright. That's when I really like that bait, but absolute killer. And I struggled with this one. For my angler, and I thought about several people who are spinnerbait masters, but I'm going to go with the guy that's the hottest right now with it, and that is Jason Christie.
Wow.
Great. Jason Christie is
went straight chalk.
Going on to the Mike Acord Bass Team 2025 draft, and he is going to fish my spinnerbait, and that guy is a spinnerbait master. And you know that he's a spinnerbait master when you listen to him talk about the way that he's done well with spinnerbaits. He talks about floating a spinnerbait. He talks about slow rolling a spinnerbait. He talks about blade configurations, thumper blades, what that does, a single blade, how he fishes a single blade. He's the guy that put the red blade on the map in the last several years with what would they call that blade? That red blade?
Red kicker.
Red kicker blade. He just kind of, it was been around. It was really,
well, it's an Oklahoma.
It's an Oklahoma thing, but it's been around. But he's really brought it to the headlight and brought us guys fishing it in different water conditions. He's talked about blade color. He's talked about skirt color, but he's talked about the presentation on how he floats a spinnerbait and how he reels it and gets it to go and the weights that he uses that gets it to do the perfect retrieve. And that is a true master of spinnerbait fishing. And that is why I had to pick Jason Christie for the 2025 Mike Acord Bass Fishing Team.
Wow. All right.
I'm just killing it tonight, George.
Let's move right along here because, we got two more drafts.
Yep.
And we got to keep the clock going.
Next draft up.
Swim bait.
Is the swim bait.
And, this is easy for me. The
I know,
bait is
I-
easy.
I know it is.
The bait is easy. The guy throwing it, I am struggling with, but I am very confident with.
The bait of choice.
I don't like mag drafts. I love mag drafts.
I knew that was coming. We didn't talk about this. George and I did not talk about this. We kind of, and I don't even know who he has picked.
Look at that chewed up son of a gun right there, man. Woohoo!
But George has been on a freaking absolute 2-year roll on that, maybe even a 3-year roll on that.
6-inch mag draft. Absolutely love it. We've talked and discussed, and I mean the ability to skip it, the ability to fish it in current, the ability to fish it shallow or even get it a little deeper with some tricky weight add-ons. Now, my problem is
Who's going to fish?
who's going to fish it.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily picking a guy that's known for his mag draft use. I'm picking a swim bait guy who uses a mag draft. Not a guy that is all mag draft, but he's a swim bait guy and he uses a mag draft. He uses more glide baits, but he uses a mag draft. But he's a swim bait guy. He's committed his entire freaking career to it. Steve Kennedy. God Steve Kennedy.
Oh my God.
Steve Kennedy went to Clear Lake, California in the early days of the Elite Series, and he stopped at a shop out there and he spent $2,000 on swim baits. And from that day on, he said, hold my beer.
Yes.
And my man has gone all in on 5 bites. He's done that with his swim jig.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that with his swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that with punching. I mean, he is old school and he's all in.
Yeah.
And therefore, I am drafting Steve Kennedy to be my swim bait guy because I don't think another guy can do it with the conviction he has, the passion.
I'm not going to argue with you there. Not going to argue with you there. And, I can't say anything bad about it. But for the 2025 Mike Acord Bass Fishing Hall of Fame team.
Hall of Fame team now.
Just Hall of Fame team.
Boy.
Winner of all 2025 bass fishing tournaments.
Oh.
The swim bait pick is the Spro Chad Shad. Yes, the Spro
like
Chad
that.
Shad. Absolutely. Got to go with it. The Spro Chad Shad is the hottest swim bait on the market.
Good
that
stuff.
is affordable. It does everything that the big expensive ones do. It is the closest thing to a hand-built bait that you're going to find out there. The density, the action of the bait.
It's good stuff.
The great hooks that come on it. You can chop the bait and walk it with a chopping action. You can glide it with a nice gliding action. You can straight dead reel it, and it has a perfectly great swim to it. Very easy to catch fish on. Probably the only one I really caught a number of fish on is the Chad Shad, so I had to pick that one. And very excited about that bait right there.
Good stuff. Who's throwing it?
Well, we have a problem here.
You went Steve Kennedy.
We got a problem.
That's okay. He can co-captain.
When we go, like George and I did not discuss at all.
No.
We did not discuss. I can't even read his notes, so it doesn't matter. I didn't even look at his notes. But exactly what George said is exactly the reason why I picked Steve Kennedy, because he immersed himself in swim bait fishing, not just glide baits, but swim bait fishing, to the point where he started to make his own swim baits, to where he started to paint his own swim baits, to where he wanted things that he couldn't find anywhere, and he made it happen with the bait. And he's mastered that bait, and he's caught key fish in his career that cashed him big money and made him big money. And he made the proper adjustments through his knowledge of the bait. And Steve Kennedy is my choice for the 2025 swim bait team.
Co-captain. I like it.
Yep.
All right, so that leaves one last category, and it's kind of an ambiguous category. It's plastics.
Yep.
You can Texas rig, you can Nico rig, you can shaky, you can wacky.
Yeah,
there's
so
Carolina.
many. So many.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Plastics is a key part of bass fishing.
Yep.
We need to draft somebody, and I'm going old school. I am going old school. I'm going with a bait that is near and dear to my heart. Probably had some influence in that. I can fish this thing in 4 or 5 different sizes. I'm going with what I'm going to call the brush hog. Now, this happens to be a game hog, which I really like too. And the reason I brought the game hog up here to show you is because my guy that's going to be leading the plastics
division,
right? The plastics room is Greg Hackney. And Greg Hackney and a game hog go together like peas and carrots. And I love a game hog. You and I have done, we won a tournament on game hogs.
Yeah.
I love a brush hog.
Love
I like a baby brush hog, a mid-sized brush hog, a full-size brush hog. I like a 4-inch game hog. I like a 5-inch game hog. Just to say, I have a binder full. So I'm going, look, I can Texas rig this. I can Carolina. The tournament we won, we were Carolina rigging it.
Yeah.
I can Texas rig this. I can flip this. I can cast this.
Yeah.
This is a versatile bait.
It sure is.
So my pick is game hog, and the captain of that team is Greg Hackney.
Greg Hackney. Fantastic.
You like it?
I love it. I love Greg Hackney. I love the fact that it's the game hog.
You like that pick, don't you?
I think it's a great choice.
Yeah, I know you love that bait.
I was caught up in the time of the year as a springtime thing, and I'm getting ready for a tournament this coming weekend, and I'm really trying to dial in on my game. And one of the things that just keeps popping into my mind is a flipping bait. And I am going to go with the 2025 pick is, and this is tough. This is tough because I could go a lot of different ways. I had a great time last night with a certain bait that I was really, really on the edge with, and I see people are saying about it. But I'm going to go with the Strike King Rage Bug. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with the Strike King Rage Bug. It is one of my phenomenal springtime flipping baits. I love to flip it in the grass. I love to Texas rig it on a 3/8 ounce tungsten weight with a straight shank 4.0 Gamakatsu straight shank hook. And I love flipping grass with it. I'll just go down through there, man, and flip grass. I dip the tails in chartreuse. I dip the tails in orange. I can fish it all different ways.
I know you like it as
but who's going to fish it?
I know you like it as a swim jig trailer too.
It's a swim jig trailer. It just does everything. It's just a good all-around bait, but I really
tell me something.
Like it for flipping in trees, and I like flipping grass with
Who's throwing that thing?
Huh?
Who's fishing it?
This is going to blow you guys away. This is going to push you over the edge, and you're probably going to say Mike's got the winner. I'm going with a Strike King guy himself.
This frickin' guy.
Dakota Ebre.
Oh.
Or Ebear, however you want to say it.
Ebear, most people.
Dakota Ebear is going to fish my bait. And
man, that's out of nowhere.
Because Dakota, you don't hear much from him about right now, but that guy is a freaking stud. An absolute stud.
That's a fish catching machine.
Fish catching machine. And he did an article on his flipping bait one time, and I read about it, and he was all about the Rage Bug. And Dakota Ebear is a hammer. He's a Strike King hammer.
Well, I know you're all about the Rage Bug.
Yeah, I'm all about the Rage Bug.
Since day one.
Yep. And he is on my team. So Yes, Mark, and Mark. I should have went with the Fluke. I was going to. It was on the tip of my tongue when I was doing this, but I got caught up in the moment about the springtime fishing and how much you can do with this bait.
All right.
And I didn't even have a person that could throw the Fluke that well.
Now,
and I was going to put myself on the team, but I just
you're not tour level.
I wasn't tour level, so I didn't really qualify. Although
right.
I do have a blue trophy over there.
Well,
if that means
let's not go down that path. But let me say this, just to mess with you a little bit.
Yeah,
I would like to throw one more in there, real quick. Not a big long preamble. We need somebody on special teams.
Special teams.
We need somebody on special teams. Special teams can be any bait and any angler, tour level or not.
Ah. Boy. Why are you throwing that on me right now?
That's how I roll.
Golly bum. Well.
That's how I roll, baby.
All right.
And I'm ready to go.
All right. I am too.
Talk to me.
I like that shallow diving, wakeish, mid wake bait.
This fucking guy.
An inch or so under the surface, 2 inches under the surface.
There is no freaking way.
And there is a guy.
There's no possible way that you don't have a spy in my room looking at my whiteboard.
There's
no way.
No, I'm telling you. And this guy can fish.
This is pissing me
the
off,
wake
dude.
bait and the subsurface bait better than anybody. I've seen him buy thousands of them.
This is pissing me off.
And I am going to go with the hybrid hunter in both sizes, the junior and the senior. And my angler is going to be Joey Everling. Joey Everling is going to fish my stuff. And Joey Everling is the leader for the special teams, breaks out the old school stuff when you need it. And he's going to be my guy.
Wow.
And while you're out there fishing, if you have a problem with your reel, not only can he analyze it right away, but he can probably fix it right on the spot.
Wow.
Is that who you were going with?
No.
No.
But the fact that you went to that part of the water column.
Yeah.
I already knew I was going down the special teams route. I was going to spring this on you.
Oh.
My bait's laying right here in front of me.
Oh. Is that what that's laying there for?
I'm going wake bait. And in honor of the fact that I loved this bait 15 years ago, I'm going with the Wake Shad 2.0 because I loved this thing when it was the Wake Shad. I freaking loved it. Can't say enough about it. This is one of the most effective baits from now until the water gets cold. This bait will catch fish out of shade lines. This bait is deadly around spawning fish.
Yeah.
This is a deadly bait. The Strike King Wake Shad 2.0 is just a 2.0 version of the same bait it was 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that I'm going to draft to throw this bait,
oh my gosh,
is Fred Boom Boom Rambanis.
Ah.
Boom Boom is one of the most overlooked, underrated, skilled anglers of our generation. I've seen him on the water at work. I've been following his career since day one, and he's throwing my Wake Shad.
That's a great pick.
And that's what's leading us to.
But you're going to have to get through Joey Everling first because
that's what's going to lead us to the ultimate competition.
That boy can catch him in shallow water like nobody's business.
So there you go, Mike.
There you go, guys.
Yeah, something a little different this week, Mike.
I loved it.
Just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. I love the comments. First of all, I love the comments, George. All the people
comments.
Getting in there. When you start to sit down and try to think about this stuff, there's so many people popping in your mind. Absolutely GDP for all different things. BMP, I had him on 2 or 3 different things. He could have went with swim bait for me. he could have went with the plastics for drop shotting because I was going to go drop shotting instead of flipping. So I mean,
and it's no disrespect to anybody.
No, not at all. And these are teams that that we put together, you know, and it's great to see. You guys can jump on our Facebook page and draft a team and throw it up on the Facebook page or any of our social media pages. I'd love to read them. I would love to see who everybody would pick. It'd be cool to have these five-man teams. The other thing I would like to mention too is all of the great pictures we got on Facebook. We put out a thing. We wanted to see what everybody was catching. We got thousands of pictures of guys catching fish. It doesn't go unnoticed, guys and ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't go unnoticed. We love to see what you guys are catching. That's why we throw it out there. And your response was great. It was cool. I can't even pick one that's great. I can't even say you know who's, because everybody's was great. Of course, any catch is an awesome catch. So that was cool. I could have
sent you some pictures from last weekend.
Yeah, you could have.
I didn't know it was going on.
You were already up there, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I you know, that was great to have everybody jump on that. That was pretty cool. So thank you so much. But yeah, if you get a chance, draft a team, throw it up on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and so everybody can see it and you can see how see what you thought about your pick.
Yeah, I would love to see some drafts.
Yeah.
On our Facebook page.
Yeah, because how long does the draft go on for? Till
here's
Tuesday
what I'd like,
next week?
I'll tell you what, just to refresh everybody, we'll put a quick post out there tomorrow with the categories.
Yeah.
And then next week we will review somebody's pick.
We'll pick out what we think is the best draft.
I want to review somebody's draft next week.
Yeah, but we're gonna look at a bunch of them. And we're gonna say this is the perfect draft.
Let's do that.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for staying on tonight. A little bit of a different show, a little bit of a different tackle talk.
Yeah, it was great.
A little bit of a different tournament talk. You know, we're always trying to suck some nuggets out of those tournament talks.
Absolutely.
The hook, the 3 ways of rigging the fluke. Big stuff tonight. The draft was fun.
Yeah.
Next week. Who knows?
Whole new show.
We're going to come up with something groovy.
Whole new show, but it's always at the same time, 7 o'clock, and we'll see you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real.